Alright, welcome back. Federal government powers. Alright, so we have three types of federal powers we're going to get into in this video: expressed, implied, and inherent. Alright, so expressed powers, we could also call them enumerated or explicit powers. These are powers that are directly stated in the Constitution. So these are things that are specifically written down. You can't debate them. The Constitution says that Congress or the President or the judicial branch can do these things. So on the right side, you have a list of some of the express powers of Congress found in Article 1, Section 8. They are definitely able to do those things. They are express powers written in the Constitution. Implied powers, on the other hand, are not directly stated, but they are claimed by Congress. And we're going to talk about the source of implied powers later in this very video. So implied powers, not directly stated, but Congress does them anyway, and we'll find out how they're able to do that. Inherent powers, very similar idea to implied. They also are not directly stated in the Constitution, but the main difference here is that they are claimed by the President. You do need to know the difference between implied and inherent. Implied, not stated, but claimed by Congress. Inherent, not stated, but claimed by the President. Alright, so the next couple slides is where we're getting to the really important stuff in this video. We're going to talk about three clauses that have greatly expanded federal government power. So these clauses are in the Constitution. This is in Article 1, Section 8. It's known as the Commerce Clause. And it says that Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce. We have, I think it's the next video, but coming up shortly, there's another video. The entire video is about this clause. That's how important this clause is. It sounds pretty simple and innocuous. Congress has the power to regulate interstate commerce, but this has given them a lot of power. I'm going to save that for the next video. Alright, we also have the Necessary and Proper Clause, also known as the Elastic Clause. Those two terms are used interchangeably, so you do definitely need to be familiar with both of them. Alright, this is also found in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, and this is where we find the basis for implied powers. I'm actually going to skip the third bullet point real quick because I want us to read. This is what the Necessary and Proper Clause is, the text of it from the Constitution. It says, "The Congress shall have the power to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper." Now, the important thing is don't stop there, because if we stop there, it sounds like Congress can do anything as long as they determine it to be necessary and proper. But this underlined portion is really important. "For carrying into execution the foregoing or preceding powers." So, what this is saying is that Congress is able to make laws that they think are necessary and proper, things that are not directly written down or expressed in the Constitution, as long as it relates and helps them carry out the powers that they were specifically given. So that's where that third bullet point that summarizes it really nicely, I think. Allows Congress to make laws necessary to carry out their expressed powers. So they can't just make a law about absolutely anything. It needs to relate back to their expressed powers. So we're going to talk about, again, there's another video that's going to discuss this in more detail. Look for the McCulloch versus Maryland video. It's going to really get into the interpretation of the Necessary and Proper Clause very nicely. But that's your main idea. So this is going to stretch congressional power. That's why it's called Elastic Clause. Remember the limit, though. It has to be related to their expressed powers. It's a little graphic. You can pause it and kind of look over this. It's getting to that debate between reserved powers, Necessary and Proper Clause, 10th Amendment, that sort of stuff. Kind of some good stuff there. Alright, our last clause we're going to deal with in this video is the Supremacy Clause. When federal and state laws conflict, the federal law is superior. So, when you're talking about the Supremacy Clause, and this is something that you could definitely have to write about in an FRQ, show conflict. The federal government says one thing, states say another, the federal is superior. The effect of these three clauses taken together is that federal power, especially for Congress, has been greatly expanded. Again, don't forget, subscribe, hit that like button. This has been a La Money production.